What's up, Taiwan? I'm Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's army is practicing how to respond to a sudden increase in Chinese aggression, part of a new kind of training that mobilizes soldiers as quickly as possible. Liao has more.
Taiwan's skies under the watchful eye of a high-tech air defense system. And at a temple in northern Taiwan, armored vehicles and tanks prepare for their next move. These are just parts of Taiwan's rapid response exercise, a 5-day drill that tests how quickly the military can mobilize.
那既然他们会由训转战，我们也可以由训转战啊。那由训转战的话，部分就是说你要透过这种类似类战备的操演展现给这些部队的坚强坚实战力给民众看，然后其实民众也会比较有兴致。
The exercises, the first of their kind, are meant to simulate what to do if aggressive Chinese military activity turns into an actual attack. In response, China, which seeks to control Taiwan, has already conducted 2 combat patrols, using dozens of military aircraft to monitor what the military here is doing. Taiwan's defense minister says that despite the added pressure, the increase in military activity could be an important lesson.
备战的操演，就是会做一个状况的想定，然后发布。那像昨天这样子一个联合战备军演发布之后，我们刚好也可以趁着这个机会，来进行相对应的操演。
Taiwan's defense ministry has been shifting military training, combining different weapons and units to get their soldiers ready for a variety of situations. Realistic training has been a priority for Taiwan's military, and some observers say that these drills so far look promising.
Just the fact that the Ministry of National Defense seems to be taking very seriously the risk that a gray zone exercise or demonstration could morph into an actual assault is a really important movement in the right direction. Apparently, we are seeing both the rapid mobilization of units, that's just an enormously beneficial first step, but then also this attempt to use some more modern and advanced tactics in order to achieve a bit of concealment, in order to not mass a lot of armored vehicles in one place that would just make them a tempting target for a drone or a long-range missile.
Other branches like the Air Force and the Navy are set to conduct their own exercises later this week. The aim here is for the military to continue carrying out these kinds of operations, taking bigger steps towards becoming a more modern fighting force. Fu Huahong and Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Hong Kongers exiled in Taiwan are marking 1 year since a controversial national security law took effect in their home city.
反对香港国安恶法，声援香港政治犯，声援香港政治犯。
The law allows for closed-door trials in the Chinese territory for crimes such as treason, insurrection, and assisting so-called foreign interference. Opponents say the law is intended to silence critics of the government, even those living overseas.
我们在境外，我们在台湾，我跟一些朋友在念书上面，我在去留言，过几天他就赶住打电话给他，问他你跟我是什么关系，跟富汤是什么关系，为什么他会在你的念书上面留言？
The passage of Hong Kong's national security law followed large-scale protests and police crackdowns in 2019 and 2020. A police officer in Taiwan has sparked controversy after identifying himself as Chinese on social media. The officer made a Douyin account, the Chinese version of TikTok, on which he calls himself Chinese and says he, quote, loves the motherland. He also posted photos of himself in uniform on the account. The police branch he works at says he posted on the account from 2021 to 2024 and has since been given a demerit. When TaiwanPlus reached out to the branch, they said a preliminary investigation shows the officer's Douyin account did not violate any of Taiwan's laws, but it did violate police code of conduct. Those include rules that forbid behavior that damages the reputation of the police force. The police are still investigating whether he broke any laws elsewhere. Russian President Vladimir Putin has rejected a 30-day ceasefire with Ukraine proposed by U.S. President Donald Trump, agreeing instead to halt attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. It follows a phone call between the two leaders on how to end the 3-year-long war. Rick Loud reports.
Another uneasy night for residents of Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. as air raid sirens wail and explosions ring out. Many here unconvinced that peace with Russia is any closer after President Vladimir Putin had a call with US President Donald Trump, agreeing to a 30-day pause on hitting Ukraine's energy infrastructure.
Я думаю, що якщо Росія дійсно перестане бити по інфраструктурі українській, то, звісно, це буде означати, що це якийсь крок в сторону перемир'я, але, якщо чесно, не дуже віриться, що воно буде тривалим.
І розмовляти про мир з такими людьми, це ні до чого не призведе в майбутньому.
Trump, who has made brokering peace in Ukraine a top priority of his presidency, said the 90-minute phone conversation with his Russian counterpart was a very good and productive one. And although Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the potential first phase of a ceasefire, he says the lack of details leaves him feeling uneasy.
Ми відносимось зі скепсисом з точки зору довіри к русским. Довіри до Путіна немає. Тому я й кажу, треба зрозуміти, як технічно це буде відбуватись, щоб це не залежало тільки від їх бажання. Ось і все.
Trump's push for peace, which has included withdrawing support from Ukraine to force it to the negotiating table, has upended this war, strained US-Europe relations, and put Putin in a stronger position during negotiations.
Well, Russia is trying to get a ceasefire where no additional military aid arrives in Ukraine. And that would be devastating for Ukraine because Russia will continue to receive its military supplies, both from its domestic sources and likely from the Iranians and the North Koreans. So it would greatly handicap Ukraine. And of course, the longer it went on, the more handicapped Ukraine would become.
Russia's targeting of Ukraine's energy infrastructure has crippled the country throughout the grinding three-year war. Putin's agreement to cease these attacks, perhaps a positive step towards peace, but one viewed with deep skepticism here in Ukraine and beyond. Patrick Chen and Rick Liao for TaiwanPlus.
AI powerhouse Nvidia has unveiled fresh tech, including stronger chips for artificial intelligence and new robots. But market reaction has been less than stellar, the firm's stock slipping after the showcase. Joyce Tsung has more.
Welcome to the stage, Nvidia founder and CEO, Jensen Huang.
Another glimpse into the power of artificial intelligence at leading California-based tech giant Nvidia's annual conference, GTC. It's Taiwan-born CEO Jensen Huang revealing new and updated AI chips with upgrades to Blackwell microarchitecture.
This is the most extreme scale-up the world has ever done.
And introducing its next AI superchip, the Vera Rubin, set for next year. But stealing the show, a breakthrough in robotics.
Hey, Blue. How are you doing?
This bot, a collaboration with DeepMind and Disney, and a foundation model for humanoids.
I told you the progress of our robotics has been making enormous progress. And today we're announcing that Groot N1 is open sourced.
Thousands of industry reps from around the world flocked to the San Jose event for a first-hand look at Nvidia's new lineup, widely seen as the front line of innovation for the sector.
And being here, I think, really opens your eyes into what's, we're just seeing the very, very tip of the iceberg.
I tried to get into the keynote at the SAP Center today. Couldn't find the end of the line. I was like, I've been to a Taylor Swift concert. It hasn't been this bad.
But in the stock market, another story. Though Nvidia has become one of the US's hottest stocks thanks to booming AI, it slipped 3% on Tuesday and is down over 20% from its January peak, cutting into its market value by $800 billion.
Jensen today do a great job just kind of presenting a lot of new products, his visions, a lot of Nvidia's ecosystem when it comes to AI. But people are worried, well, you have all this amazing products, amazing ecosystem, but where is the customer? At least for 2025, if you look at the top 4 CSP, the call service platform company in the United States, their capex, the capital spending, is actually continuing to increase. At least on that, you couldn't say the demand it's decreasing. But I think the people is worried about like, okay, like beside this four CSP giants, like what's the other demand will come from?
As doubts swirl over whether lofty investments in AI will eventually pay off, concerns over the U.S.'s economic outlook under President Donald Trump, another factor hanging over the stock market. But at least for Nvidia, a full-fledged commitment to its vision for a future where AI is everywhere. Eason Chen and Joyce Tsin for TaiwanPlus.
As you just heard there from tech competition analyst Ray Wang, exactly where the demand is for these AI products is still unclear. But Nvidia and other tech firms are still betting on them and making their own progress in AI chips. To find out whether this strategy will pay off, Joyce Tseng talked more with Wang.
We're now at least 3 years into this AI boom, which has made stocks like Nvidia's among the hottest on the U.S. market. We just saw Nvidia stock slip after its conference keynote. Where are we now in terms of investor confidence in the sector?
There's a lot of economic uncertainties that mostly caused by the tariffs. People are still like very closely paying attention on what's the Fed gonna do, what's the just broader macroeconomics. I think that's number one thing, because it creates a lot of uncertainty that sort of like undermine the market confidence. And the second thing, among analysts like us, like the concern we are seeing from the investors is like, hey, like why there's orders cut on the CoWoS for TSMC, why there's a cut for the orders of GPUs, right? People will start like speculate, well, like is it this AI demand will continue to moving forward?
We're seeing other giants invest in their AI chips. Google is reportedly breaking away from working exclusively with Broadcom on its AI chips and is preparing to work with Taiwan's MediaTek on its next generation. What do you make of this strategy?
So MediaTek, basically as a company, they design chips for not just smartphones, but also for automotive, but also for AIoT and other network technology. The cooperation with Google, it's actually been speculated for quite a while in the market. Part of that, I think Google just thinking about like, oh, like, okay, we work with Broadcom, we work very well, we have great partnership, but we also want sort of like alternative suppliers, because you don't want to have just one suppliers, because like it will be hard to negotiate a price. Right? MediaTek is a very interesting company, right? They are the company, the best IC design company based in Taiwan. But if you look at their revenue portfolio by region, I think 80 to 90% it's actually from China. So a big part of that is from the smartphone, right? They're providing chips to companies like Vivo, Oppo, like Xiaomi. Those phones, like Taiwanese typically don't use, but it's actually they have tons of amount of users in China.
Well, given their sizable customer base in China, what does the U.S.'s ongoing tech competition with China mean for MediaTek and its shift towards the AI business, especially now with Trump back in office?
U.S. is actually worried more when it comes to like MediaTek design the chips. Because think about that, like imagine MediaTek if they design the AI chips for China, right? And they are one of the best IC design company. So like if that's the case, like I think that's the thing, like US will have extreme concern. But and right now they just design the chips for the normal smartphone. So it's not, I think for now, I don't see a major risk for MediaTek. And I'm sure the company, to my understanding, they have been paying very close attention on the regulatory change from the White House or Department of Commerce in Washington.
That was Ray Wang, a U.S.-China tech competition analyst based in Washington, D.C. And thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we bring you to Tehran, where people are lighting fireworks and dancing around fires for the country's annual fire festival. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.